It's been raining like crazy out here in the forest, and it obviously gets super muddy, and every time I go in and out of the camper I'm traipsing mud everywhere, or I had to take my boots off. I've been meaning to build a doorstep, and while I was at the local lumberyard I saw this big stack of scrap wood, which is essentially dunnage wood, which is the wood they use to protect items when they're being shipped. The particular style of dunnage wood that I'm using here is called banding groove, and I'll do a whole separate video on why I think dunnage wood is superior to pallet wood as a source of free lumber. Anyway, in this instance I was inspired to make something with it, and the banding groove has those grooves in it which seemed like a good place to wipe your boots, and it was free, which always helps. I let the length of the pieces of wood dictate the dimensions of the doormat. Dunnage wood is usually only the width of a pallet, so it's somewhere between 40 and 48 inches. This ended up being a little under 4 feet wide and a little over 3 feet deep. So step one was to make sure everything was the same length, and of course I did that on the chop saw. Sorry, all the sound is turned down. The generator is running in the background, and the noise gets kind of annoying. One of the perils of the off-grid workshop is that everything runs off of batteries, and I have to charge them up every time I come back to the city, or run the generator. The last thing you want is power going out while you're running power tools. So I'm running the generator, charging the batteries and powering the power tools at the same time. One of the bigger projects I hope to get done this year and make a video about is installing a solar powered system to run the off-grid workshop and recharge batteries, but until then I'm using a DeWalt power station. So now everything's cut to a uniform length. The only thing that remains is to make them all the same height. So I'm ripping everything on the table saw down to the same thickness. Now all that remains is to screw everything together onto a base of a couple pieces of pressure treated 2x4 that I also got from that same scrap pile. You can see in a couple of these clips that I'm having real trouble keeping the drill bit in the screws. It's these terrible square head screws that just do not engage. But I have this huge bucket of them that I bought at Orchard Supply Hardware after Lowe's bought them and they went out of business. I got them for like 75% off. So I basically use them on any project I can. Anything I know I'm not going to have to take apart and rebuild. Alright, basically done. All that remains is to give it a bit of a brush off. It's going to get very muddy, it's going to get rained on, it's not going to last forever, it's basically temporary till I get the camper in its final resting place, but for now it'll do. All I'm going to do here is level the ground a little bit. I've always loved the look of those old boot scrubbing things you see outside of old buildings like Downton Abbey. Anyway, I feel like I got a pretty good deal on all this free wood, so while I was at the lumberyard I picked one up. And there it is, the final doormat. Quite happy with it, I think it'll age nicely. And here you can see what the banding groove actually looks like. I think it'll make a pretty good doormat. All done. I like making things when I'm inspired, and I'm trying to find out if I like showing people me making things on YouTube. Not quite sure yet. So if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Feel free to subscribe or share. Thanks for watching.